Libra, welcome. It's Erin Scott here with the Alchemy of Holism, and I am here with your monthly alchemy scope where we're doing some art channelings. And this month I'm using gouache. These are some of the gouache paints that I have. And here's my little paint bowl. So I'm going to get started. What we're doing is we're tapping into the natural growth archetype, the arc of growth for the Libra archetype. Okay? So what's happening for Libra to grow you over the course of this cycle? Everything in nature grows and expands, and you are no different. Depending on when you're born, however, first decan, second decan, third, what degree of Libra you're born, etc., whether you're a sun or an ascendant, that's distinct to you. But that being said, the Libras do have a growth arc, just like each of the signs do. So that's what we're tapping into here. And I'm using this gouache, which is very similar to watercolor. It can go quite opaque, but I've been doing, typically in these readings, I've been doing it very washed, like watercolor. But it's so fabulous to use. It's very, very fluid. So what I'm going to say right off the bat is that for those of you with Leo heavily in your chart, you're going to want to look at Leo as well. I say that because there's already a similar form that's coming through. So Libra, I hope that you are well. This particular new moon, this Pisces new moon cycle that I'm tapping into now, which is this mid-March to mid-April, it's very powerful kind of inherently. All new moons are, but this particular new moon was and is because it was conjunct Chiron in Pisces, at the end of Pisces. And it was at the same point of conjunction with Chiron that Venus and Mercury were conjunct Chiron at 2 weeks prior. So there's a healing narrative at play for humanity as a whole right now, okay? So what is the growth narrative for you, and perhaps what is the healing at play for you at this time? Let's take a look. It's been fascinating to see how quickly a lot of these art readings are going. They're flowing very quickly, typically. So I'm getting something right away that I want to share. Which is, you're getting a lot of circles. You have these circles and you have this black circle. And what I'm getting with that is that there's a containment, an idea set, a containment of emotion, a containment of a belief system. There's almost a rigid holding within you that feels it's dark, it's unacknowledged, it's a shadow point because it's black. It's also a thick iteration of black, but it's within this larger yellow, lemon yellow, bright, joyful, energetic, natural aspect of you, which is kind of, you know, emanating out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like these 7, let's say, appendages from the, and you know, we have kind of 7, typically it's known that we have 7 core chakras down the middle of our body. This is almost like legs, but not necessarily. They're certainly arcing back up, though, which is interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. For me, these almost look like awards. You know those badges that you can get, those little award... I know that you guys know what I'm talking about. It's almost like they're pins, you know? It's like award pins that you'd stick on your lapel. That's what I'm getting from those, which is kind of interesting. So there might be some issue of recognition or lack thereof that some of you are working through over the course of this particular cycle. And this is likely connected to a wound narrative. Okay? So it could be recognition is at the base. This almost, and this is not going to, not all of you are going to understand what I'm talking about, and you're not all going to see this, and that's okay, because you should really attend to what your own psyche is bringing forward for you. You have your own distinct growth. And you want to trust the psyche's images that are coming for you. For me, this is almost looking like the handle of a sword, an Asian sword. It's almost like the handle of an Asian sword, a battle sword, a very intricate, ornate one. And so for me, there's a hint of royalty here, and there's a hint of battle here, and it's black, and it's big, and it's overshadowing. It's at the top of the rest of this image. And what I'm getting for the Libra arc of growth over the course of this cycle is you might be contending with thoughts, because we're talking about this up at the top of this image, almost in the ethers. So in your mind, in your thoughts, there could be a heaviness with regards to your self-seeing. You see yourself as worthy, you know, royalty, really, and worthy of awards, worthy of attention from others. This might be like little attraction, almost like magnets here, see? It might be that you're contending with ideas that I'm worth a lot, people need to honor me, people need to respect me, etc. But it's at the top and it's heavy, it's large, it's looming. And because the only other black thus far is here in the middle of perhaps your belly, because yellow, as you know, you've heard me say in the other scopes, yellow is associated, of course, with the third chakra, which is 2 inches, 3 inches above the navel. It does represent the persona and the will. It's also your natural source, your natural joy, your natural emanation. But here, your will has a black contained narrative there that is linked. Clearly, it's linked to the belief system, because everything within the body is the subconscious mind. It is the manifest form of the subconscious mind. You better believe that everything is a belief system. Everything. Everything that manifests within the body, belief system. For you, it's impacting your magnetism. For some of you, you might feel that you are getting magnetized. You are magnetizing some reward. For some of you, you are going to be attracting some reward. But there's almost like at the center of it is some lack of confidence, is some contained idea about I'm worthy, I deserve it. But it's blackened, it's shadow, it's unconscious. There's something that needs release there in order to truly magnetize from a yellowed will state without the seed, this huge massive seed of black, of shadow, that is unrecognized. Let's see if there's anything else that wants to come here. There's something about the feet turning upward. I'm not sure what that is yet. It's almost like, Libra, that there might be a sense of grounding. It's almost like there's a fear of putting your feet down and rooting yourself because you keep hooking back up to your will. It's almost like this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I believe, this is what I think, this is reality. So it might be, most certainly this reading is not going to be appealing to those of you who don't, you know, who don't want to hear this stuff. But what I'm getting here is that there could be, and don't get me wrong, I love Libras. I have lots of Libras in my life. But there might be that there is this insistence with this upturn on both sides, right brain, left brain. You know, there's insistence on me, I, me, mine. This is my reality, you know. But this, it could, for some of you, look like stubbornness. And it might be that the stubbornness is up for healing. Because to truly magnetize, because the thing is with these, let's say, reverse magnets here, coming in toward you, the truth is that the magnetized side is opposite. It's going the other way. There might be a repelling force that some of you are feeling over the course of the cycle. Maybe that people are going away. It might be that. You're sitting here thinking, I'm worthy, I am royal, I am, you know, a master, I am a disciplinarian, I deserve accolades and awards, I am right. You know? And it's almost like this thing that came, this kind of arc of ground. It's like you're in your own, this is your own bubble of reality here, maybe. Again, a lot of you are not going to like this reading, but listen, it's about getting real, everybody. And don't take anything personally. This is the generalized arc of growth for the Libra mind, for the Libra ego. So we're all going through it. All of us are going through it. Trust me. All of us are. So this takes courage to see ourselves clearly, the dark and the light, and the tendencies that are driven by a wound. Because the point is that the wound always drives the fear story, the fear mechanism, the fear unfoldings, societally, but certainly in the individual life as well. Here, these are going the opposite way. Some of you might be actually feeling a repelling force over the course of this month with people. Maybe you feel like, why are people going away, or why aren't they leaving, or why don't they honor me as much as I honor me? You know, I deserve these awards. I deserve it. And the truth is, of course, is that you do. But the issue is that you somehow don't believe it. That's the issue. As within, so without, always. Always. So if whatever you're experiencing is your reality outside of yourself, that's the reality within. Always. As within, so without. Yin yang. Always, always, always. It's the principle. It's one of the base principles of natural systems. But it's all about the mind. So ultimately the wound is driving a belief system that is causing a reality that is somehow dissonant. Now, for some of you, you're not going to necessarily be experiencing this to this degree. You know, it might be subtle. It might be very subtle. But the generalized egoic arc of growth for the Libra archetype over the course of this cycle is about self-realization, owning the wound, owning the belief system, learning and understanding that you are royal, you are source. Now it's time to eliminate the wounding that is activating something that's creating a repelling force. You are worthy of accolades, but you need to know that first. You need to be the healing, and then the healing manifests outside. Okay, now let's go ahead and pull a card. I am going to use, as I've been doing, the Carolyn Mace archetype cards to pull the primary or the main growth edge for you over the course of this cycle. Okay, so Libra, I do send you so much love. This is not meant to be critical of Libras. Some people take it that way, but it's not meant that way. It's meant to be honest so that we can actually help each other, free each other. That's what this is about. So we have to be honest with ourselves if we're going to grow. Okay, let's see what the main growth narrative is for you over the course of the cycle. This is beautiful. Engineer, okay? Engineer, let me make sure you can see that, okay? Yeah. Now, engineer is about growing out of, maturing out of reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. What wants to be evolved is the ability to give creative energy a practical expression, a talent for designing solutions to common dilemmas. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that you have an innovator inside you that can take right and left brain talent, skills, ways of being, ways of operating, and bring them together. So if you take this and make it into a determined nature that opens itself up, that life becomes not a battlefield, that you're not in battle with yourself, that life is not a battle to you, it's not your war that you need to wage. But when you open up and you connect to the emotional consequences that you can deliver or that you can catalyze, because this is about moving out of reliance on mechanistic solutions, so dry, without regard for emotional consequences. For you, it's about feeling. This might be too mental, too dry, and it's based on wound. There could be an emotional healing to do. Ability to give creative energy a practical expression. A talent for designing solutions to common dilemmas. Really good. So, Libra, I do send you much love and support, as I've done with all the signs. It is a big time. It does take courage. For those of you interested in learning more about my holosynthesis work, I invite you to go to the alchemyofholism.com and check out the details. Soul print stories and the freedom from those soul print stories. That's the work that I do. I am sending you support, and I will talk to you again next month. Bye, Libra.